Marginalist school of thought was beginning dated at 1871, in which serious economic and social problems like poverty, uneven distribution of wealth, business fluctuation occurred. Socialism, trade unionism, and demand for government regulation will respond to above problems. However, marginalists opposed all of these solutions by defended market allocation and distribution, deplored government intervention, denounced socialism, and sought to discourage labor unionism.
Hello, I am Conrad, a French philosopher and mathematician. I am the first economist to introduce the theory of the pure economy and duopoly. A firm can maximize its profit by setting a price which marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. A stable equilibrium is achieved through a step-by-step reduction of the output by each producer, with the duopolist ultimately selling equal quantities of the goods at a price that is above the competitive price and below the monopoly one. Hello, I am Deput, an Italian-born French civil engineer and economist. I am the first economist to draw a diagram showing an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, and to stress on the marginal utility underpinning of demand. Hi, I am von Teranen, a German economist. I published The Isolated State, which is a theory that considers the location of various forms of agricultural production in relation to the market in which the product is sold, as the intensification of production in agriculture within the ring rises with diminishing return costs, marginal costs to rise. This leads to higher market price, which in make it profitable to cultivate new areas. Further from the market, added unit of the level lead to successively smaller increases in total agricultural product.
Hello, I'm Jacob. I'm an English economist and a logician. I use graphic analysis to illustrate the law of variation of the final degree of utility of a commodity. I employ the notion of marginal utility to formalize a general theory of rational choice. I use the principle of utility maximization to explain the gains from exchange. Hi everyone, I'm Munger, an Australian economist. I introduce the theory of value and the imputation in price factors of production. A commodity may have great value to one individual, little or no value to another. Its value depends on the requirements of different individuals and the amounts available to each of them. The value of a good of a higher order is derived from the value of a lower order good to which it contributes. Hello, I'm Feng Weiser, an Australian economist. I suggested that the cost depends on the value of an alternative opportunity lost when the resources were used for the chosen community.
Hi, I'm von Bomberg, an Australian economist. I incorporated time into economic analysis theory of interest, which arises for three reasons: present orientation, expected of rising wealth, roundabout production. Goods are appreciated more highly in the present than the future. Expectation of rising wealth derives from the idea that we are prepared to borrow and pay interest for present, rather than we think about the future consumption, because we expect to have a greater wealth in the future. The process of production is lengthened or becomes roundabout, where more and more capital goods are produced and used to make final products. Hello, I'm Edward, an Anglo-Irish philosopher and political economist. I originated the idea of an indifference curve that showed the various combination of two items that will yield an equal level of utility on an individual. Hi, I'm Clark, an American economist. I developed marginal productivity theory of distribution based on the law of diminishing marginal returns. The division of the social income into wages, interest, and profit are in the principle of equitable.
These are some of the main issues or economic theories generated from the Marginalist school of thought. First, the law of diminishing marginal utility, which states that during the course of consumption, as more and more units of a commodity are used, every successive units give utility with a diminishing rate, provided other things remaining the same, although the total utility increases. Second, theory of rational consumer choice. A person can get maximum utility with his given income when it is spent on different commodities in such a way that the marginal utility of money spent on each item is equal. Third, the law of demand. As the price of a good or service increases, consumer demand for the good or service will decrease, with all other factors being equal and vice versa. Fourth, the law of diminishing marginal returns, which occur in the short run. When one factor of production is fixed, employing an additional factor of production causes a relatively smaller increase in output. Last, the theory of opportunity cost, which refers to a benefit that a person could have received but gave up to take another course of action.
To conclude, Marginalist school of economic thought was a transitory period between classical and neoclassical schools. Marginalist school widely utilized the approach of mathematics and gradually developed economics into a kind of science. It emphasizes the application of mathematics in economics, especially in microeconomics perspective. Its contribution on exploration of analytic tool of demand and supply, consumer utility, and mathematical framework has been universally acknowledged. Meanwhile, it helps better in explaining on human rationality in economic activities, subjective valuation, and efficient prices. However, on demand side, classical economists theorize that prices are determined by the cost of production, while the marginalist economists emphasized that prices also depend upon the level of demand, which also depends on the amount of consumer satisfaction provided by the individual goods and services.